Welcome friends, we're going to start working towards the completion of a calculator project. So crank up Visual Studio and the bottom click on create a new project here and then select from the next panel that shows here Windows Forms app in C#, not in another language, C#. Then click next on the lower right hand corner. Alright, and then let's change this to calculator. Solution name, the location, and the project name, you can leave them as they are. Click next. All right, for the target framework, what I'm getting is 5.0, the current version, I guess. Just leave that, it's fine. Click create. We're just gonna make a basic code template here. All right, then it reboots like this. Give it a second. It's a bit like booting up an old car, seems like. Okay, so here is our form, and what we want to do is just add. So go to view, in case you don't have it, and then click on, where are we here? The toolbox, Control-Alt-X. So make sure you show the toolbox on the left side. And then from there, we're going to type the following. So we need a couple text boxes for our inputs. So type txt. Okay, so grab a text box object, drag it in here like that. All right, and then we're going to do two of these actually for two different inputs. Is add two boxes this way. What else? For now, we're just going to work on the add button. So type BUTT and then add a button to the form also. Place it right there. And we need a label where we can store our output. So type LAB and then add a label object to the form this way. Now the issue is these things are often too small by default, right? So just do Control A, highlight all of the objects, and then on the right side, notice where it says properties. These are the properties that are shared. In other words, a change here will modify all the objects the same way. So look for the property called font usually. It's too small right now, and just maybe make it like 18. Probably will be better. Okay, that's bigger. Alright, so that's that. Rearrange this a little bit, right? So pull things down. This button has to be enlarged a little bit, but not too much because we're going to change the text. Alright, so this is the user interface. It does help if you name your objects meaningfully. So click on the first box here and then find the property for text box 1, the name property, and then change that so it says instead txt and we'll say first. That means the first value. All right, and then click on the second box and change that so it says here txt second. That means the second value. Click the button object, and again, that one where it says the name property, just change it to btn add. You understand the purpose of the button. But then also scroll down and find the text property and then change that so it just says add add. Okay, and then find the label property here and then change that so it doesn't say label 1 anymore. Just clear that out, to be honest, and then go back up and then change the name property so it says LBL output this way. Okay, so now we have these objects. What we want to do is read two entries and click the add button and display the sum, and do it in such a way that the program doesn't just crash on us if the input is not correctly formatted. So double click the add button. All right, let that code stub come up. And now that we have this code stub, we're going to do this. So if, and then double that try parse. We're going to use the try parse method because this is the one that helps to ensure that your code does not crash. That's a really powerful method. You should use it. So double that try parse, and then it says string s. So you need to get the string from somewhere. You can get that from the text property of the boxes. You can type txt first dot text and then put a comma and then it says out double result. So if it can successfully convert the string into a numerical quantity, it will, and that will be saved over to result like this. So here you have to type out double and then we'll call it R1, like result 1 of the conversion. And then we have to make sure this also works with another call. So another, type this, and then here on the next line, we're going to type double that try parse, and then txt second that text, and then out double R2. All right, and then terminate all of that. So by using try parse, you're helping to prevent crashes. Let me just quickly review. So try parse is located within a double here structure, and then it takes a string, which in this case is represented by the text property of a text box, and if it can, it's going to produce R2 as a numerical quantity. If not, it basically assigns a value of 0 usually. So let's see. Once you've done that, then imagine you have R1 and R2, and these are numerical values. You can operate on them numerically. So we're going to say the following. LBL output.text, and then just assign a value. So now it's up to you whether you override on each output or you stack the output. So imagine I want to stack it, so I'm going to type plus equals this way, okay? Using string interpolation, double quotes, I will say sum equals, and now you can operate on R1 and R2. Just add them within the curly braces, terminate with a semicolon. Now, if you want to stack the output vertically, then it does help also here if you put a slash with an N, that means a new line. Now, we also have to display a message in case the conversion to numerical form fails. So we can say something like else, and then LBL output, that text, and then plus equals. All right, and then let's use string interpolation. So dollar symbol, let's see, double quotes, and then inputs an instructive error message to the users. So we can say something like input, okay, must be in numerical form this way, okay? At least it has to appear in numerical form. Be careful. The text property of the boxes is just that. It's a text property, right? Which means when it's brought into the program, it's brought in the form of something between double quotes. And then the try parse method tries to make a number out of it without double quotes. But this is good enough for our purposes. Input must be numerical form. Okay, so that's pretty much it actually. So click on debug and start with that debugging. Let's see what happens here. Let us surface. All right, here we are. Nice form. And put some values, so numbers first, right? Try those. It has to work with basic numerical inputs. Okay, so click add, and it tells you the sum is 26.91. That's good. Okay, do it another time with a couple different numbers in here. Okay, like 2, and then click add. All right, as you can see, it's stacking the output. Maybe you want that feature, maybe you want to override. It's up to you, but this is something to do. And now input something in here that, for example, is not convertible to numerical form, like a string of text, and click add. And it says input must be numerical form. Now, but notice that there's an issue, right? Like this input must be numerical form is not on its own line. We don't want it that way, obviously. So here, just go back and add the following, a slash with an N. Again, that just means a new line. All right, so click on start without debugging. Let's check it one more time. All right, so we're gonna have here 34. Some numbers in there always first, so that's good. And then try some input like this. Input must be numerical form. Okay, go back to some normal numerical input. Maybe throw in a negative number here and there. Click on add. So that's working nicely. Now, obviously, the rounding maybe is not what we want. That could also be checked and all that. Let me shut this down. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to be working in this project, so make sure you come back to watch more. Please leave a like on this video.